Hello and welcome back to Yarn Tea and Books. My name is Tasha, and along with my husband, we are the humans behind Frogget Yarns Hand-Dyed Yarns and Mobile Yarn Truck. So welcome if you're a new viewer, and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. I'm so happy that you're here. We have a lot to catch up on. There was no episode last week because we were in New York and we had to leave before my filming day, and there just wasn't enough time in between, but there's a lot to catch you up on. So we'll get right into it. We'll do our normal format. We'll do Mug Watch, FOs, WIPs, and shop news. After shop news, I'll do the Rhinebeck recap and haul, and then we'll do book chat. So if you don't care about Rhinebeck and you just want to get the details and skip to book chat, you can. And if you don't care about book chat, but you want to know what we got up to in Rhinebeck, that's the way we're going to do it. So Rhinebeck recap will be after shop news, but before book chat. So, and I'm sure there's chapters, so you could skip ahead and figure out where you want to be. But welcome. Yeah. Grab your favorite mug and a cozy beverage, and you know what? Maybe grab a project because we've got a lot to talk about. So we'll start with Mug Watch, and this week I have this beautiful, simple pumpkin mug. This is from Shelby Beavin Designs. She's on Etsy. I have a few of her mugs now, and this one came across my feed as a new drop in her shop, and I love the classic just white glaze with the like speckling and then just the cute little carved pumpkins. It's very understated. I can use this until December. So regular chai blend from Adagio, Shelby Beavin Designs. She'll be linked below. I find her prices to be very affordable for a handmade mug. So as of this morning, which is Thursday, October 23rd, she still had some in her shop. She also has the same design, but the glaze is black, which is quite striking, but I love the white. So that's Mug Watch. Let's move on to FOs. So the big FO is the tiny baby cardigan is done. It is done. This is the striped baby cardigan by Florence Merlin. It'll be on the screen. It's all done. It's been freshly washed in soak. It smells so good. The buttonholes are done. And yeah, all I have to do is sew on buttons, which I did get in Rhinebeck. I'll show you them now, because my dear sweet friend Andrea gifted me some adorable little hedgehog buttons that she got in Scotland at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival when that was still a thing. She had 5 of these. Unfortunately, the sweater call for what I did is 8 buttonholes. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I will look for some tiny, not matching, but like coordinating. So like little mushrooms. And I think I talked about this. But folks, these are tiny. And the buttonholes are tiny. It's just a 1 stitch, like a yarn over buttonhole. So I found these. I went to Dusty's Vintage Buttons. She's my favorite button place to go to. She sources them all from estate sales, and they're all old buttons. And I found these beautiful, like silvery teal, but it goes so well with this color. And I got a card that had 8 on. And originally I thought, well, I'll do, 1 hedgehog, 1 round button. But on the cardigan, I don't like the look. So I had them all spaced out. I don't like the look of the cute little hedgehogs with the round buttons. So because I have 8 of these, I am going to put all of these on the cardigan, and I will save the hedgehogs for a different project. There's going to be multiple baby sweaters made, so they will get used for something very special for the baby. But for the purpose of this cardigan, I didn't like the mix. I thought I had found a really cute set of mushrooms, which is what I wanted, but they were just too big. Tiny, tiny buttons are hard to find. So, baby cardigan is done. Then my daughter, while we were in New York, she sends me a text message and she says, do you think you can get a pair of booties made in blue by November 9th? So her and her husband are having a maternity photo shoot to announce the pregnancy, and because they know that they're having a boy, they wanted blue booties. So she sends me a picture, and I will pop the picture in here of the original ones that she sent me. So I did a little search on Ravelry, and basically they're like baby Ugg boot style. So I did a little search on Ravelry, found a pattern, and the first one is done. I sent her a picture of a bunch of blues that I had in the truck because we were working. It was, I think it was the Friday of Indie Untangled, and she went with Abyss, which is just a beautiful tonal navy. So the first one's done. I have some fiberfill in there. She's probably gonna want them stuffed anyway because they're gonna like hold them in their hand or whatever. I think it's maybe a little overstuffed, but the first one is done. These are not hard. They're actually knit flat. And then at the very end, you seem like, so they're knit, I don't know, some weird funky way. And the last thing you do is join the bottom and then come up the back and fold that little top over, and you've got a little booty, and they're adorable. So I have to whip out another one of those for her before the photo shoot, and yeah, it's quite fun. So that's our merino DK. I just used a 50-gram skein. I had a bunch of blue froglets, which is what we call our 50-gram skeins, and I have plenty to do another booty. So yeah, didn't have to break open a whole new skein. The last FO is not one that I made. This was very lovingly made for us. There's one for Brian and one for me by Cat, who is half of Cesium Yarn. So it's Cat and Penny. They are a wife and wife team of indie dyers who we love very, very much. And she was making Harlow flip hats by Andrea Mowry. She asked if we wanted them as samples in the truck, and we said yes because she knows that I do not knit brioche. I don't like it. I don't enjoy the process. I can, I just choose not to. So Mr. Froggett chose Tin Roof Rusted, which is the gray with speckles, and he chose Merlot. Those are his 2 favorite colors to put together. So that is his Harlow flip hat. And that's the beauty of it. It's completely reversible. So then on this side, he would flip it up. Yeah. So that's his. And he loves it. And I chose a less contrasty pairing. I actually thought it would be more contrasty than it is. I chose Romantasy, which is the speckle, and Tea Rose, which is the tonal. So still a beautiful effect, but just a little less contrast. So big thanks to Kat for making these for us to put on the trailer and to wear on our heads this winter, because it's brioche, folks. I'm not going to do it. Yes, so that is Cesium Yarn. They also have a yarn truck, and they'll be linked below. Everything that I'm going to talk about today will be linked below. All the links to the places that I shopped at Rhinebeck. It'll be a big description box full of stuff. But that's it for FOs. Well, no, I do have another bobbin done of my sweater spin. So this is Cormo in the color Terracotta from Lair of the Llama. This is actually my third bobbin, but the first bobbin was from a different batch, and I'm still looking at it. It's still very dark. So I think that one is just going to be a one-off, and I'll either keep it and ply it with something else, or I will chain ply it back onto itself to get my 3-ply. Yeah, I don't think it's going to look right because each of these from the new batch, she dyed me 6 braids, are much lighter, which is fine. I love it. So that for me is ply number 2. So I have 2 full bobbins done. And I think I've changed up what I'm going to do. Originally, I was going to spin all 6 braids from start to finish, no splitting of the braid. But I kind of think I want to split it up now. So the first 2 bobbins I have are spun end to end, no breaking of the braid. I think the second 2 bobbins that I spin, which will be ply 2, I'm going to split both of those braids in half and spin each half from end to end. And then the third ply for each skein, I'm going to spin the last 2 braids in half and then each half in half again, so into quarters, and spin it end to end. And that'll just break it up more like a fractal. And then I'll ply, you know, one each of those together for my 3-ply. So I thought I was going to have another finished bobbin of another spin, but it became a WIP because I didn't get it done. So that's it for my FOs. So let's move on to WIPs. For WIPs, I'm doing a bit of a reset, a WIP reset for now through the end of November. I want to pull out some WIPs that I've left kind of just go by the wayside. I want to get them done. I want to get them off my needles before December so that I can enjoy my December and my Advents. I don't have a plan. I only ordered 1 Advent calendar. I ordered an Advent from a homespun house. I've been wanting one of hers for years. Mr. Froggett got it for me actually way back in April. It was an anniversary gift. So I don't have a plan for that one, but he's going to be dyeing me a spinning Advent. And I think I would just really like December to be slow and, you know, I can spin on the fiber that he's going to dye me. I also do the Advent skein from the Cozy Knitter every single year. I've done it since year 1. And every year I get a finished pair of socks by Christmas Eve. And I love it. It is a tradition that I sit down every morning with my tea and I do usually 2 stripes a day per sock. And I will cast them both on, do 2 stripes every day per sock. And then I know they're done in plenty of time for Christmas. So I want December to not feel like I have a lot of WIPs on the go. So kind of resetting what I'm working on. No new casts ons right now. I'm going to try and finish some things up. So I pulled out the Douglas Cardi. Do y'all remember this? Like, it's ridiculous that I stopped when I did because there really wasn't much to do. So I pulled it back out. The back is done and the right front is done. So these will be joined together. There's my armhole. I just have to do the left front, which is where I'm at right now. And I only have to do, I'm on stripe number 2. I have to finish this color and then do a stripe of the pink and a stripe of mahogany. And then the left front is done. And then it's literally join the seams for the shoulders and knit the sleeves and the collar. That's it. So this is what I'm going to be working on, because it's ridiculous that it's still sitting here. And Mr. Froggett desperately wants a sweater. He has picked a cardigan that he wants. And I think that will be what I concentrate on maybe in December and January. He has to dye the yarn. It's a worsted weight, so it's going to go quick. But anyway, this is reset number 1. I'm going to finish my Douglas Cardi. This is by Andrea Mowry. I've already made one before, and it's one of my favorite cardigans. I just wanted a new one in some fresh new colors. So, finish that. That's priority number 1. WIP number 2 is my November Granny Square, which I cannot show you. That's for club. I also pulled out the other WIP that's just hanging around, and that is my Almue shawl. So this is a shawl by Camilla V.A.D. I am using, oh my gosh, where am I at? I am using our Merino Sport, which is an 80/20 superwash merino and nylon. And I am using our Pumpkin Spice Breakdown fade set. Well, not fade. Our Pumpkin Spice Breakdown color set. So it's 5 colors. And these are the 5 colors that are in our full-size skein, just called Pumpkin Spice. So I took those colors, reworked the formulas to make them, to pull each color out by itself and make them a tonal. So I don't even know. Here's where I was the last time I showed it to you. And yeah, it's such an easy shawl. Guys, it's literally all garter stitch with 1 row that's just eyelets. Ridiculous. So that's goal number 2 to finish this. I think I'm past the halfway point, so there's really, I have no excuses other than I got distracted. So that's the Almue shawl by Camilla V.A.D. That is also the second time I've made that. I have one in an older sport weight base that we used to have in the shop. And so yeah, mostly it was to update it so I can have it as a sample in this color set and in the base that we currently carry. And it is living in a beautiful fall bag by Twisted Yarns and Fiber. I see her at a bunch of shows and she does beautiful bags. So it's living in that. That is priority number 2 for November. Finish my Douglas Cardi, finish my Almue shawl. I mean, this I'll have done. This is an evening of knitting. But those are the 2 big WIPs that I want to get done. The last big WIP that I want to get done, because I've thought of a way to finish it that doesn't involve the current setup. And I didn't get it out, but I'm not even sure where it is. It's my quill shawl by Jared Flood. 1 second. Okay. Heat flash. Apologies. So my quill shawl, which I didn't grab because I can't seem to locate it. Anyway, it's a shawl by Jared Flood that I'm literally on the border. And the last time I talked about it, which was way back in the spring, the border is knitted on. So as you're binding off, you're adding this border. And it's not hard, folks. It's literally 12 stitches. 12 stitches. Back and forth. But it's just slow going because you're only binding off every other row, right? So I think I found a plan which involves ripping that border out, reclaiming those stitches, because I'm maybe 3 repeats into the border. And I think I will choose a crochet border and just crochet the border around and call it done. I'd really like to have this done. It's a beautiful dark charcoal, but in my heart, I'm thinking it might make a beautiful heirloom baby blanket for my grandson. So I just want to get it done. And I think that's the way that I can get it done. I can just rip out that border that I've done, reclaim those stitches that are bound off, which isn't many, and choose a beautiful crochet border and just go around and call it done. So the next time I podcast, maybe something will be done on it and I can find it. This is another WIP. I actually thought it would be done. This is Cormo roving that was from a fleece that I bought that I had processed, and I dyed it. And it actually looks like this dyed up. And I love the way it's spinning up. I actually thought this would be done before I started recording, but I didn't get it done. So that's it for WIPs. Kind of resetting everything. Getting these long, languishing WIPs. Now I know where it is. It's in my office in the giant hibernation basket. Anyway, I'll show it to you next time. Yeah, so just kind of resetting my WIPs, getting them done in November so that I can have December to just do Advents. Spin, my Christmas socks, and open my Advents with you guys every day like I do every year. So that'll take us to shop news. Lots of shop news. Some of it's just repeating what I've said for the last few episodes. So number one, Lily Pad Club pre-orders for November are still open. They will stay open through October 31st. Major brain freeze. So for November, we are reading Dream Slinger by Gracie Kim, which is a magical middle grade book. As of today, Thursday, October 23rd, you will see this. If you watch it the day it comes out Saturday, October 25th. But as of today, there are 3 book charms left. So we have this amazing Chinese dragon that Kelsey did. There's the spine. She did that beautiful painted filigree on the back. But the star of the show is the dragon. So there are 3 left as of time of recording. If you want a charm, go grab one. Here is our color palette. And this one is so fun. I dyed all of the wholesale ones. So for our shops, we dyed those this past week. And they're sitting over in my office. And I'm loving the way that the granny square is working up. So it's a really fun one. For those of you that like your purples, you got it. So those will close October 31st. Let me get my notes. Yeah, 3 book charms left. The Halloween colors will also come down October 31st. So there's still some of those in the shop. We will bring whatever we have left with us this weekend to the Frederick Fiber Fest. If you're watching this on Saturday, that's when the Frederick Fiber Fest is. So I won't bring a lot because once they come off the website, I really don't have a purpose for them. So I'm only bringing what I have left to Frederick this weekend, but you can place your orders through the end of October. Our giveaway was so well received. So thank you to everyone who entered or liked it or shared it. I think it's probably the most interaction one of our giveaways has ever gotten. We got a ton of new followers. So if you're one of them, welcome. I'm glad you found us. All of the giveaway prizes as of the day of recording have been sent. Kelsey, let me show you the charms. So Kelsey donated, I thought she was donating 1. She donated a set of 2 to the giveaway. She reached out and she's like, do you want charms for your giveaway? And I said, if you want to donate charms, I'd love them. So she whipped up tiny little pumpkins. So the winners got a pumpkin, and I have the other one on my Douglas Cardi, and a beautiful little harvest basket. It's got pumpkins and leaves. So that was the set that Kelsey donated. She donated 2, and then she's so funny because she reached out and she's like, all right, I made 2 sets, but I also made a set for you. So she gifted me a set of those. So thank you, Kelsey. We absolutely love them. So those prizes have been sent. We ended up picking 4 winners total. We picked 2 from Instagram and 2 from Facebook. And we just worked it that the first winner we chose from each got the special Kelsey charms, and the second winner we chose from each still got Kelsey charms. They were just charms that we had in the trailer. So everybody got a Kelsey charm, everybody got a basket, and everybody got a set of Cozy Bookshop. We will also be bringing Cozy Bookshop to Frederick, and then we'll bring the last of it to our last show in November, which is the Maryland Alpaca Fleece and Fiber Festival. That is November 8th and 9th in Maryland at the Howard County Fairgrounds. So we will bring Cozy Bookshop to both of those events. For anyone who didn't get to Indy or didn't get to order it online, it is available online. Christmas colors. Our Christmas collection will go live on the website November 1st. We have 2 colors. We kind of got in our heads a little bit after Indy Untangled just because it felt a little off. I'll be honest, the Cozy Bookshop color did not go well, or at least not as well as I thought it would in person. The Yarn Hero did not go as well as I thought it would in person at Indy. So our original Christmas idea was much bigger. It was more colors, but we've decided to scale it back because there's a lot involved. There's a lot of money put out for me to dye all of these colors on multiple bases for nobody to want them. So we've scaled it back. We've kept with the book theme. We've got 2 colors for Christmas. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 2 Christmas colors that we put together for this year's collection, because when I podcast next week, it will come out on November 1st when the Christmas colors will go live. So first up is All Booked for Christmas. We just fell in love with this vintage but still traditional Christmas color style. So you still got your reds and your greens, but you've got this like creamy brown and just this old world feeling. So All Booked for Christmas on fingering with a green mini, and the same color on Merino DK with the green mini. It's always gonna be brighter on something with no nylon. So there's the difference. Still beautiful. That is All Booked for Christmas. And then our second choice is, you know, for the people who don't just love everything to be red, white, and green, red, gold, and green. Like I like a little bit of non-traditional Christmas. So we're going to do North Pole Book Club, which is the fun twist. So here it is on fingering. You get plenty of your greens in there with this pop of pink. And here it is on DK. So that is North Pole Book Club. So that is that. And then the other one, All Booked for Christmas. That's the 2 Christmas offerings that will be up November 1st. They will only be available with a mini, and they will only be available on fingering or DK. That's it. We will be bringing a limited number of each to our last 2 shows, just in case you want to come see it in person. The other thing that we're working on, and I'm blaming Kelsey for this. So Kelsey, if you're watching, we love you, but this is all your fault. She reached out to me and she said, do you want charms for your December book box? And I was like, or your Christmas book box. And I was like, we don't have a Christmas book box. I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe she's getting me confused with another maker that she works with. And I said, we're not putting together a Christmas book box. It's just going to be 2 Christmas colors. And she's like, oh, I saw your Instagram post with the book picture and I thought you were doing a book box. And then I was like, well, damn it. Now I want to do a book box. So we chatted back and forth and we have come up with a plan, and it is an amazing plan. I'm so, so excited. I'm just going to tease it here because it does not go live until December 1st. So think of this as like your Christmas Eve cast on or just a little treat yourself moment. We are doing together a Christmas book box. So Kelsey is designing an amazing charm. I am designing yarn. The book box will include a book for adults. I mean, not spicy, but like not a kid's book like Frog and Toad was. And it will be limited because this was kind of all just like us chatting and me saying, is this something you want to do? And her saying, absolutely. I'm so excited. So stay tuned for more details. There will not be an unlimited number of these book boxes. I was only able to order 20 books. So there will be 20 boxes and it will have exclusive yarn, the book where I'm getting the inspo from, a charm from Kelsey, and then a special little add-in that we're putting in. So keep an eye for those. Those will not go on sale until December 1st. I have to develop the yarn. Kelsey has to design the charm. But they will be ready to ship. So there's not going to be a pre-order. When you order the box, it will ship. Like, you know, as soon as we can slap a label on it and get it to the mail. That way you have it in time for Christmas. So there'll be a lot more information coming. But I'm blaming Kelsey for this because she thought we were doing a book box. And then after we chatted, I'm like, well, now I really want to do a book box. So we are. So that's that. More information will be coming. I will show you. I think I'll have the books before I podcast next. And I might have a picture of the charm so I can show you more. The colorway itself, we will offer as a separate standalone. So just like we did with Frog and Toad, if you don't want the box or you miss out on the box, you'll still be able to get the colorway, the yarn. You just won't be able to get the rest of the goodies. Our last show, our next and last show, they're the same thing, for the year is the Maryland Alpaca Fleece and Fiber Festival. That is November 8th and 9th at the Howard County Fairgrounds in Maryland. It's the same fairgrounds where the big Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival takes place in May. That's our last in-person event, and then I'm hibernating for the winter. Last thing for shop news, Advents. All of the Advents will ship by the end of next week. Yay! We're actually a little bit ahead of schedule, which I don't know how that happened. All of the weeklies are packed up. All of the 12 days are packed up. We are starting with the tagging and the packaging of the dailies, the Dragon Rider Academy. We pick up the last little gift this weekend when we're in Frederick. The maker is bringing the gift to us. And I just got the big box of the exclusive charm sets from Kelsey yesterday. So everything's in place. And that is our number one priority next week. Mr. Froggett and I are just we're gonna take all the time. We're gonna finish packaging up the dailies and My goal is to have every single advent to the post office by Friday of next week. So November, nope, by Halloween. And get them out in the mail so that I can get extras listed for you to buy if you missed out. So that's it. If you ordered an advent and you've been waiting, get excited because you should be getting a shipping notice at some point next week. We'll probably take them in waves just because I don't want to overwhelm my post office. I live in a tiny, tiny town and I don't want to, Dan knows, my postman Dan knows they're coming and he'll be ready and I will give him a day's notice and say, hey, I'm bringing all of the advents and he'll have a cart ready for me. And he's very good about scanning every single box. But I will also watch all of the tracking and make sure every single one has been delivered before I sell the extras. So that's where it takes the time. So there'll probably be a week in between me sending them out before extras are listed because I make sure they all have gotten delivered. And that's it for shop news. So if you're sticking around for the Rhinebeck recap, let's talk about it. Rhinebeck was amazing. The weather was perfection. You could not, this is the weather you dream of for any fall event. It was sunny with some clouds. It was crisp and cool. You could walk around in your sweater or your scarf and be comfortable. You didn't need a big bulky jacket. You also didn't need a tank top or t-shirt. It was just perfection. Yeah, I'll be, some of this will be voiceover. I'll be slipping in some clips. I took some video of us driving up. The changing of the trees was just gorgeous as we're driving up through. And it was just a really great time. So Friday we did the Indie Untangled event. And as a vendor, we always get a beautiful bag gifted to us. And because this is such a fast-paced event, like we get there, we have to be open an hour before the public comes because volunteers are allowed to shop. So I took that hour to, there were two makers that I wanted to visit. One was Yarn Jam. I wanted her Rhinebeck show color. And this is on 100% Shanico, which is a U.S. blend, a blend of U.S. Merino and Rambouillet. And I just thought this was stunning. She had it on her Instagram and I knew that I wanted it. So I grabbed 2 braids of that. And then the other maker that I visited was Camp Stitchwood. I get her monthly sticker club. It's just so fun. But she did a special Rhinebeck sticker or New York sticker with this cute little Adirondack chair with your knitting in it. Gorgeous. I also got a pin, but I'm struggling to see where it is right now. A little, it just said Indie Untangled 2025. So that was my indie haul. Like I said, there's not a lot of time for me to buzz around and shop at that show because I'm working and it gets, the crowds come in waves. So, you know, you have maybe 45 minutes to an hour where you're just bombarded with people, but then you have another hour, hour and a half where you barely have anyone. So it comes in waves. Indie did feel a little off for us. I talked with a bunch of other vendors who felt the same. It just seemed a little off compared to last year. But, you know, that's fine. It happens. Hey, Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck was amazing. So let's review because I know I shared my list with you last week. My list was to see M.A.B.E.L. She makes the project bags and sometimes garments out of the thrifted vintage quilts. Buttons for the baby cardigan, which you saw that I got. I wanted to visit Loop Fiber Studio, Feederbrook Farm to see what their show color is. Harrisville Designs, and M.A.B.E.L bookstore. So we're standing in line, and I'll be putting in pictures because we're standing in line together. We both had our cows on. We were waiting. We got there about an hour before it opened. I don't know. I just love the feeling of standing in line, chatting with the people around you. Everyone's so excited. And as we're standing in line, Mr. Froggatt said, "You're going to M.A.B.E.L first, right? Because I know what you want." And I said, "Oh, really? And what do I want?" He's like, "I know you want a coat." He's like, "You've been wanting a coat for a while, but the thrill and I don't even know if thrill's the right word. The fun part about what M.A.B.E.L does is, and she's told me this, when she, gets a quilt, if there's not enough of it that's good to use for a coat, or she makes like sweatshirt type pullovers, she makes vests, then it gets turned into project bags. You have to have a lot of the quilt be in good shape to make a coat. So I said, yes, that's my first stop, because every time I see her at a show that we're at a show that we're vending at together, I'm always getting there at the end of the day. And so if she had a coat that I was going to like, it's probably gone. Or she didn't have one because, again, vintage quilts. It's not like she can just go buy more of the material. But we went there first, and I am so glad I did. This is my #1 favorite purchase, and I will put a video in here of me showing it off. But I got my M.A.B.E.L coat. Okay, so you saw it in the video. There she is. It's going to be very hard to show. There's one sleeve. There's the other sleeve. Oh, there's the back. Oh, you guys, it's got beautiful pockets, deep pockets. There's her label. I will link her below. I am so excited to have this. So I had on a sweater. I had on my DRK everyday sweater, and I just took a vest with, because I knew that I was going to be too hot in a sweater and a coat. And I had packed a t-shirt in our backpack for the day, because I thought, if I get too warm, which is very possible, I can go into the bathroom, take off my sweater, pop on my t-shirt, and I'll probably be fine. Well, then I got this, and I wore it as long as I could over my sweater, and then I went to change, and I put my t-shirt on, and I still kept this on. I wore this all day long. I'm absolutely stoked. It's my favorite purchase of the entire weekend, probably of the entire year. I'm so, so happy that I got a M.A.B.E.L quilted coat. As soon as we walked in her booth and I saw the pink one, I was sold. They are not inexpensive, okay? They are not inexpensive. They are always one of a kind, because, again, vintage quilts, right? She cannot just go get some more fabric. So just keep that in mind. I budget for Rhinebeck. Like, I plan to spend what I want to spend, and it's put aside. So they're not inexpensive, but it was, if I had not gotten anything for the rest of the day, I still would have been thrilled because that was what I wanted the most. Loop Fiber Studio was on my list, and I did go to Loop, and I got this beautiful spinning bump. So these are designed that you pull from the center, and it'll make a long color changing skein of yarn. So this was it's called Heartfelt, and it is 5 ounces, and it's marked as all merino. So that's my Loop Fiber bump. Whoops. You'll see there was a very pink theme to the day. Not shocking. Then we went to see our friends Katie and Dean, who are the Yarn Adventure Truck. We're helping their friend Q, who is the Foldout Cat. And she has an amazing part of her booth that is make your own custom bat. So a fiber bat for spinning. So you go in, she's got a set of shelves where she's got all these pieces of fiber already dyed. I think every piece is about 1/4 ounce. So you pick 8 to 9 different colors, or all the same color if that's what you want. And then there's add-ins like sparkle or the curly locks or anything. You can really make it an art bat if you want. I'm not a fan of super chunky art bats, but I did pick 9 pieces of fiber and a little bit of, I guess it's Angelina sparkle. And then you take it to Q, and she has a drum carder there, and she asks you, do you want it to be blended, stripy? I just did blended, and she puts it all in the drum carder. I will pop a video in right here of her taking all the pieces that I picked and putting them in her drum carder, and then she layers in the sparkle, and it was just so fun. So as you can see, she's layering in the sparkle. She's she ripped each little bit that I chose apart again to just like layer them in and blend them. But this was the finished result. I'm so happy with this. So this is a little over 2 ounces, and it's ready for me to spin just from the bat. So that was fun. That was not planned, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So that's my custom bat from the Foldout Cat. I also went to Into the Whirled, and I got 3 things of fiber from them. It's all Falkland, so Falkland merino. I got Lean Into It, which is those colors. I got Just Pretentious Enough. And then I got Random Consecutive Order. And I'm thinking they will look great together. Like, these two are very similar. He assured me they were different, but I'm thinking they would look very nice as a gradient. So I might spin these onto themselves, like just do a 2-ply, split each bump in half, and then keep them as a gradient. And that's it for fiber. I did buy some yarn. So I went to Green Mountain Spinnery, and I bought, what's it called? Does it have a name? It's called Lana. It's a 2-ply fingering weight, 100% fine wool. And I got it in 2 different colors. I got this beautiful icy blue, and then natural. It's just called, this is called Neblina. Can you see that? And this is called that. So I got 3 skeins of each. 3 skeins of blue, 3 skeins of the natural. It is fingering weight, but I think I'm going to hold it together. I think I'm going to marl it and just do like maybe a cozy classic raglan, because I think that's done in DK, and just hold these together and just let it be marled for that kind of like sweatshirty vibe. So I did get 3 each of those for a sweater project. Almost done. I also grabbed a skein of self-striping from White Birch Fiber Arts, and this is called Marginal Gains. Love white birch. This will be self-striping. And then I went to see a chick that knits. This is a new to me dyer. I don't often buy a lot of just random one skeins other than self-striping. But this is a signed pooling, which we've had on the truck before. It's kind of fizzled out, but I loved the pink on the gray, and there is a little bit of green, and I'm just going to make socks with it. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm not going to worry about the assigned pooling bit. I'm just going to let it do what it wants to do. And then I think, is that it? Last thing I got was the special Rhinebeck charm from Wee Ones. And it's a little sheep in a scarf with an apple. So that's the little, that was her show charm. And then our friend Chevis, who is Chevy Rel, she also has a podcast here on YouTube. I will link her below. Her partner has a 3D machine, and he printed out a bunch of fun things for her to give out, and she gave us sheep. So Mr. Frogget chose this like holographic purple one, and I chose the pink one. And that is it. That is the Rhinebeck haul. Not too bad. Let's see. Did I hit my list? I got the M.A.B.E.L. We got buttons. I got the fiber from Loop. The Feederbrook show color just wasn't for me. I walked into Harrisville Designs booth, and then about 10 seconds later, Andrea and Mowry walked in, and it just became too crowded. Too many people, and I can get all of their yarn online, so it wasn't a big deal. And then we did walk through the Merit bookstore booth. There were no books that I felt like I had to have. So nothing from there. We did end up leaving early. We left the fairgrounds around 2, maybe a little bit before 2. And we got back to our hotel, and we decided there's no sense just sitting here for the evening and getting another kind of crappy night's sleep. So it's like a 5 hours max, because, you know, we stopped to eat. 5 hours home. We were home by 8 o'clock. So we just decided to check out early and drive home. The boys were thrilled to see us, and it felt like the right decision, because then Sunday did not feel so rushed with us driving home Sunday morning, still having to go do all of the life stuff, you know, groceries, all that stuff. It felt like the right decision to just come home Saturday night. It did get very crowded at Rhinebeck. Some years that doesn't bother me. Some years I'm finding it does. I don't know if it's a menopause thing. The weather was just stunning, which is what you want. As a vendor, as an attendee, you want stunning weather. But then it also means the crowds are much more overwhelming. And there's only so much being bumped into, being pushed out of the way, being hit with ginormous strollers. What is with strollers being the size of SUVs now? I don't get it, why a stroller needs to be that big. There's only so much of that you can take before you're like, I'm done. So that's kind of what happened. We saw our friends. We got to hug, you know, lots of people. I didn't take nearly enough pictures. I usually don't, but I'm there to be in the moment. And these are people that I see often. So if I want a picture, I can get one at the next show. But overall, it was great. It was a wonderful experience. Again, still my favorite show to attend. Just some years, some years the crowd is too much. And this was one of those years. I just, by 1:30, I was like, there's nothing else that I want. And I don't feel like just walking around. I'm kind of ready to leave. It was just a lot of crowd. We were there early. So I feel like there are people who get there early when it opens and are done by noon to 2 and they're ready to leave. And then there are people who sleep in, take their morning slow, come in later, and then they stay later. We're definitely in that first group. I want to get there in the morning when it's cool, get my things, and then just kind of cut out. But that is the Rhinebeck wrap up. If you saw us and said hi, thank you so much. We did see quite a few people. We got to be introduced to people that, you know, order from us on the regular. We got to meet Dawn, who orders club every month. We got to meet quite a few of you. So thank you for that. But that is everything that we did at Rhinebeck. That's all the damage that I did, which was a lot. So let's move on to book chat. Book chat is going to be short and sweet. I finished our October book, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. I loved this. I am finding the more Chinese, Japanese, Korean mythology that I read, that I'm enjoying. It's very lyrical. This was a beautiful story. It had me in tears by the end. I'm sitting there spinning. I did listen to it. It had me in tears. I just thought it was just breathtakingly beautiful. It was a very beautiful, well done love story, and I loved it. So I hope that if you're reading this, you are loving it too, because I absolutely loved it. I also finished Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. Again, this was another knockout for me from T. Kingfisher. This is the second book of hers that I've read, and I absolutely loved this story. This is a dark reimagining of Snow White. So good. So good. Highly, highly recommend. What am I currently reading? I am currently reading Anathema by Carrie Lake. I started this, I'm not too far in. I'm only about 90 pages in. She's a chunker. I am kind of tag teaming between reading this and listening to it. I had already had the audiobook version, but this is a darker gothic fantasy. So I'm loving that. Perfect spurt for October. I'm also reading Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood. This is the same author that wrote Rewitched, and I read that last year during October and loved that as well. And I'm about 50 or so pages in. I just started this the other day, and this is just cozy, witchy fantasy, and I'm loving it. So perfect for October. I am hoping to have both of those read before November. Hoping to have both of those read by the end of the month, very beginning of November, because I really want to read Alchemized in November. I feel like November, you know, we switch the clocks, it gets darker, it's moody, and shout out to Patrick, who is my good friend Rachel's partner. He wants to read it too. So Patrick, if you see this, let's buddy read in November, and then we can chat about it, because I want that to be my November read. So shout out to Patrick for that, because he also is looking forward to reading that. So hopefully he hasn't started and we can buddy read that in November, because I'm looking forward to it. And that's it. Whew, I've got some editing to do. That'll do it, folks. I told you to settle in. I hope you got, you know, I hope you got some work done on your project. I hope you had a good cup of coffee or tea or juice or water or whatever. Welcome. I just want to say as a closing, welcome to all of our new followers, to all of our new viewers. We appreciate you so much. Thank you to everyone who participated in the giveaway. It was a huge success. I love that we can do that. Obviously, I wish that I could give something to everyone. I just can't. But this was our little way to help with that Rhinebeck FOMO. I know it can be tough to to not be able to go. I understand that I am extremely lucky. It is a work trip for us, right? I get to go because I'm there to work, and then I get to enjoy, you know, some time at the main festival. So it is a privilege that I get to go. I have been going to Rhinebeck, I don't even know, since before Indie Untangled was even an event. Like, that's how long I have been going to Rhinebeck. I have only missed maybe 2 to 3 years, and one of them was enforced because of the pandemic. So I'm very, very lucky that I am able to go, that I live close enough, that I am able to budget for it to go. And now that we work the pop-up event, it is even easier because the whole trip for me is a business trip. So it helps. But that's why we wanted to do the giveaway, just so that we could just give a little bit of that back, yeah, to those of you who don't like to go because of the big crowds and who can't go. So we love all of you. We're so glad that you're here. If you made it the whole way to the end of this beast of an episode, please leave me your favorite emoji in the comments. I don't even know. Just leave me an emoji, a yarn ball emoji. There you go. Leave me a yarn ball emoji if you made it the whole way to the end and you stuck around for this episode, because you're my favorite. So that'll do it, folks. I've got yarn to prep. Yeah. So I will see you right back here next week. Same time, same place. Please remember to be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And until then, happy making. Bye.